Welcome to the first edition of our weekly business roundup for 2025. I'm Nishani Piguera. Let's dive into the top stories. Stock market reaches highest ever value. S&P to upgrade Sri Lanka after external debt restructure. And customs achieve record-breaking revenue. Leading the headlines this week, the all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange continued to register record highs. The BOSE is now close to the psychological 16,000 index mark. For the year ended 2024, the ASPI recorded an year-on-year growth of nearly 50%, with market capitalization reaching 5.7 trillion rupees, up 1.4 trillion. The banking sector is driving the momentum based on possible impairment reversals following the completion of the external debt restructure. On Monday, turnover was a significant 10 billion rupees, higher than the recent weekly average of 8.1 billion. On that note, Dilshan Veerasekara, CSE chairman, revealed that 4 to 5 IPO applications are currently being processed amidst the increased interest in the stock market. The S&P Global has retained its selective default status for Sri Lanka, citing that it will upgrade the rating once all foreign currency debt, including bonds of Sri Lankan Airlines, are restructured. Sri Lankan Airlines owes $510 million in dollar-denominated debt, which was taken over by the central government in March 2024. Earlier last month, Moody's and Fitch Ratings upgraded Sri Lanka's credit ratings to CAA1 and CCC+, respectively. This took place following 98% of all bondholders agreeing to exchange their old sovereign bonds to new macro-linked bonds linked to GDP performance. Merchandise exports in November fell 5.6% from a year earlier to $943 million. In the month, apparel exports rose marginally to $397 million, while tea and coconut exports also recorded marginal growth. Exports to the United States, Sri Lanka's single largest export destination, rose 1.8% from a year earlier to $227 million, while trade to the European Union also fell slightly to $213 million. Despite this, services exports expanded by 21% from a year earlier to $326 million. In the first 11 months of 2024, service exports have reached $3.2 billion, a 7.4% growth from a year earlier. Sri Lanka Customs has achieved a record-breaking revenue of 1.5 trillion rupees in the year 2024, exceeding its 2023 revenue of 970 billion rupees. This achievement is a testament to the department's efforts in boosting public confidence in fiscal reforms. Further, during the first 10 months of 2024, the budget deficit contracted by 31% to 1.06 trillion rupees, while the primary balance recorded a surplus of 830 billion rupees. According to the IMF, revenues should be maintained at 13.6% of GDP, while keeping expenditures at 20.9% of GDP in 2024. Sri Lanka's key inflation rate continued to be deflationary in December, falling 1.7% from a year earlier, marking the fourth month of continued deflation. Food prices rose 0.8% in the month, while prices for non-food items fell 3%. According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, deflation is expected to continue well into the first half of 2025 before normalizing to 5%. The recent introduction of the overnight policy rate is expected to help stoke demand in this regard. In this week's tourism update, Sri Lanka welcomed over 248,000 visitors in December, pushing the year-to-date total to more than 2 million. Daily arrivals saw a notable increase, rising to 8,037, up from the 6,139 in November. India remained the largest source market, followed by Russia and the United Kingdom. December's arrivals exceeded the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority's target of 230,000, marking a strong close to the year. From Thursday, Emirates increased its flight frequencies on its Dubai-Colombo route, increasing passenger capacity by 30%. This enhanced schedule offers more than 2,800 seats daily and can transport up to 160 tons of cargo per day. This collaboration with the carrier is to help achieve the target of 3 million arrivals by 2025. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all maturities fell for the fourth consecutive week. Bids amounting to 405 billion rupees were received, of which 168 billion rupees were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee appreciated slightly against the US dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging between 293 and 294 rupees. And that concludes our update for this week. For the latest on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. We'll be back next week with more insights. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe.